Most business owners are wearing way too many hats. Sales, marketing, operations, HR, heck, they're even taking out the trash. I've worked with hundreds of overwhelmed founders and they all think they need the same thing: more time and energy to scale. But what every business owner actually needs for huge growth without burning out is this simple chart. This simple chart helped me go from overwhelmed in one business to growing and exiting 4 businesses inside of 4 years. It also took my client, Eric Sampson of the DJ firm, from overwhelmed, hands in everything, to focusing on what he does best and growing more than he's ever grown this year at 30%. In this video, I'll show you how this one simple structure gives you total clarity on every role in your business, including the ones you need to get out of so you can finally grow without losing your mind in the process. All right, time to get into our core functions. Remember, functions is another word for department. Most businesses look something like this. Now, depending on your business, it might be a little bit different, but we'll talk about some things that might change. At the top, we have the visionary. Then we have an operator. Then we have sales, marketing, operations, finance, HR/admin, okay? What I want you to think about is these people get the customers, these people do the thing to sell or fulfill, and these people manage. So this is important just to lay out the basic positions or functions of your business. Now, sometimes sales and marketing is together. That's one function. That's fine too if that's where your business is at. Sales and marketing are very much similar in different types of businesses, okay? Now, looking at this chart, one of the most important things to think about is this guy should be seeing out the farthest, okay? So we want the visionary thinking 2 to 10 years ahead, depending on what stage of your business is, right? Now, the operator, we want them 1 to 2 years ahead. They're working on bigger things like that. Then when we get down here, we're around 1 year, okay? Now, this is called time span of responsibility. This is just so you could understand when you're in this seat here, let's say you're in the sales seat, you're thinking 1 year ahead. But when you're going out there and you're doing your visionary work, you're thinking about the future, you need to be thinking 2 to 10 years ahead. And so what I want you guys to do is just get these functions down, the positions down of your business, and then we're gonna build a little bit more on this. But until you know all these positions, you don't even know where you're sitting every day, right? You just call it work. I do everything, Angelo. What do you mean? Whatever it is, I just get it done. That's great. If you're gonna stay out of burnout and you wanna grow your business, you have to understand these exact things you're doing, because how can you hire someone for marketing if you don't have a role and responsibility defined? I take that back. I know people who have done that, and the people that have come on, they've just crashed and burned. So get these functions down and understand where you should be thinking when you are sitting in these roles. Now that you laid out your functions, it's time to start defining your chart a little bit more. First, with roles, accountabilities, and responsibilities, what that person does, what are they responsible for, and who are they accountable to? KPIs, how are we measuring success in that role? And just remember that one person owns a function. This can't be multiple people owning the sales function. Multiple people can work in there, but one person is in charge of it. I don't know about you, there's been too many cooks in the kitchen. No one knows who's supposed to do what and who's accountable for what, and nothing ever gets done. Also too, you might be looking at this chart already, like one of my clients, Eric, who I mentioned in the intro. When we first put this up there, he shook his head in disbelief about how much stuff he's actually doing. And we just joked and laughed. Well, no wonder you're burnt out and stressed. You don't even realize all the things that you're doing. So back to roles, responsibilities, accountabilities, right? We have the visionary, okay? This is the person that is the CEO, a lot of times visionary CEO, Steve Jobs, things like that. What are they usually responsible for? The vision, right? Where's the company going, right? What are we here for? What is this company about? They're in charge of the culture, making sure that the culture that they're creating is in line with the values and where this company is and the purpose. They're also in charge of big ideas, okay? They're the ones that's coming to the table with, we need to be doing this, we could be doing this is how we could be growing. They're also in charge of big relationships, right? This is the people that your strategic partners, different kind of vendors, things like that. You're the go-to guy if you're the CEO. Then over here, you have the operator. Now, the operator is a really interesting role. The operator is supposed to take all of these visionary ideas and distill them down and understand the vision and help bring it to life, right? So one of their biggest roles is vision to life. Okay, I'm just gonna write vision to life here. The next is to lead, manage, and accountability for all of these people, making sure they're doing things effective to plan. A lot of time the operator is a coach, right? They're coaching up everybody in these different functions, making sure they're doing all the right stuff, right? They're in charge of the P&L, making sure that that's all there. Now you have sales, right? What are sales roles and responsibilities? Get leads, close deals, manage pipeline, follow up, and their KPI, right? What they're supposed to be doing, right? What their measurement for success is usually close rate, right? Making sure that they're there, or it could be how many appointments booked, depending on your business, but you have to give them a number. Then you have marketing. Then this is attracting your ideal customer profile. This is generating leads. Depending on your business, it could be sort of advertising, right? It could be social media management. It could be web traffic, right? I just want you to think about what are the things you need them to do? What is the responsibilities? What is the stuff you want to have them? Then for KPIs, how you're going to measure them, depending on any of these, it could be lead flow, right? It could be web traffic, right? It could be customer acquisition costs. It could be any of those things like that. Then you have operations, right? These are the people that fulfill on the promises that the sales make and the marketing advertises, right? They build the thing, right? Whatever it is, they build the widget, right? They're in charge of waste, making sure that we're not doing things for waste, things like that. What you could do for a KPI for them, for a measurement for them, is something along the lines of, you could do it on waste, you could do it on fulfillment, how long it takes to fulfill an order, things like that. Think about your business. How would you measure success with a number, right? Because when you're talking with people, when you're measuring them for success, you're managing them, a number is just great because it's not, an opinion, right? It's not subjective, it's objective, and people need to know what success looks like. Then over here, we have the finance, right? This is P&L, bookkeeping, maybe taxes. Depending on the business you're in, this could be loans, right? They could be going out and getting money for your business. And a lot of times the KPI for them is staying on budget. Then lastly, we have HR and admin. This is about hiring, firing, culture, right? This could be sometimes an NEPS score, a score to measure your business. Then so any sort of admin functions that they need to do. This could be executive assistant to the CEO. And a great KPI for HR is going to be turnover rate. And so everybody's going to be a little different. These are just some examples. If you have questions, just fill out the form to download everything below, and you could just reach out to me and we could just chat about this. But designing this is just already a big breakthrough. So now I'm looking at this and going, okay, for sales, I need someone that gets leads, closes deals, manages the pipeline, they follow up, and their measurement is going to be getting good appointments. So now I understand, okay, if someone's going to come on my team and I need to get myself out of that, this is what they need to do. And also for you, you need to be looking at this as a founder and going, okay, I play here, 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 I play here. Oh my gosh, no wonder I'm burnt out. No wonder I'm stressed. Look at all this stuff I'm doing, right? And just getting your head around what you're actually doing is super important. And then what's really important to do if you're doing this is marking off how much percentage of your time is being spent in any of these areas and thinking about where is the best place for you to spend time. Where is it the best for you here for your skill set? And what things don't you like? And so mapping out the roles, accountabilities, and responsibilities is the next step. Once you get all these functions done, make sure you have KPIs so you know what success looks like in this role. Because now if you're doing this role, maybe in your head you know what success looks like. But the whole point of this is to save you from burnout. And that means you're going to have to hire some people to do this. And how are you going to hire someone? How are you going to interview someone if you don't know the roles, responsibilities, accountabilities, and what success looks like? All right. Thanks for being on this journey with me. We started off with our functions, our departments, or like I like to give an analogy of our positions of the business. Then we went through there, we did the roles, accountabilities, responsibilities, KPIs for every role, so we understood where everything was on the org chart. Now, I want you to review your org chart, take a look at it. Then I want you to write where you're doing these roles, write your name in there. Like that reference I said about Eric at the DJ firm. When we first got together, he was the visionary, he was the operator, he was sales, he was marketing, he was finance, admin, and he had his hand in operations. That's 7 hats. 7 hats. How are you going to find the time to do all of those really well? Doubtful. And also too, how's he going to know if he's actually really good at marketing or sales? He's just doing them to do them, right? Now I want you to review which ones are your roles, which seats are you sitting in, all of that stuff. Then score them 1 to 5. 5 is I love this. This gives me energy. I am pumped up to do this. 1 is I am not good at this and or I just don't like it. Right? And then I want you to start making a plan. I want you to start making a plan of handing a couple things off, right? Now, it doesn't need to be the whole role, but maybe it could just be part of the role. Like in HR and admin, maybe you hand off a couple admin responsibilities. Or if you're doing finance and you don't like doing your monthly P&Ls and bookkeeping, maybe you just pass that off, but you review them every month. You still are in there, but you're not doing the work so much. And so step by step, you want to make a plan. And don't worry, you don't need to hire a bunch of people right away. This is a one at a time kind of thing. I want you to imagine that you're a ship and you're trying to go faster and you got a bunch of weight on your ship. And you're not going to dump off everything overboard because you might need some stuff. But one thing at a time, you just kind of let go here, let go there, right? And then you just start building a company where you're doing your stuff that you love. You just keep repeating this process till you're building the business that you love, doing the things you love with the people you love. Because what's the point of doing this? What's the point of all this sacrifice if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it? Because if you're not enjoying it, I don't care how much money you're making, you're going to burn out and this is never going to be great for you. So make sure that you're doing this. Review the charts, see where you're sitting, score them 1 to 5, and start making a plan how you're handing this stuff off. Real easy at first. Could be just a virtual assistant. Doesn't need to be a full-time person. Could be a part-time person. Rinse and repeat until you're happy. Now, if you're ready to start hiring, check out my video on the foolproof hiring system to start filling up your company with A players that make your life easier rather than giving you more work.